Take me to work. Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about my kids. For a couple of different reasons, but one reason because I'm a proud dad. Two, because I don't know. I think I've got some stuff to say about how to raise a kid. Sorry about that. We got a dump truck or a garbage truck coming by here. All right. Just I think I have a philosophy about raising kids, and I think might be different than other people. Might not be. I mean, it's kind of goes along with the success principles and things like that. I think like raising kids is like developing employees or developing leadership in your company. So I guess I could say that my wife and I have 5 kids together. Not together, but 5 kids total. I have one older son from a previous relationship, and then she's got 2 kids from a previous relationship, and then we have 2 together. So we're like your typical mixed family. Seems like very happens a lot these days, but it's just the way it is. I guess I'll start with the stepkids, so to speak. One is 20 and the other one is 23. I've known them since I think that the 20-year-old was 2. Well, I knew the mom before the son was born. I knew the mom before the daughter was born. We had dated back in the late 90s. And kind of had falling out, and then kind of got reconnected a little bit later. And then she started working. I was dating a friend of hers, and then this was 5 years after we had kind of, probably 6 or 7 years after we had broken up. And I was dating a friend of hers. I needed like a bookkeeper, accountant person, and ended up hiring on a part-time basis, and then she became full-time, and I guess the romance rekindled, so to speak, and we got back together. But anyways, so she had gotten married in the meantime, and she had 2 kids. And so, you got the step-kid situation there where, there's a little bit of animosity because you think, oh, this should have been with me and all that stuff. And I won't even talk about that, but her youngest son, who's 20, super sharp kid, very smart, very technically smart, not real socially skilled, but he works for our pizza restaurant. He's a cook there while he's going to college, and he does a great job. I mean, amazingly, he's never cooked before in his life, and we go there on days he works because we know the food is going to be better than it normally is. And it's always good, but he just cooks it to perfection, and I don't know why. You always get a good experience. He's also going to be working for our contracting business this summer, kind of a labor aspect. So we'll see where he goes. I don't think he's really figured out what he wants to do with his life, but like I said, he's very intelligent. I think he's very capable. He just has to get his confidence together, and I think he's going to do fine. Now, her older daughter, who's 23 or 24 now, She also works for us. She works in the contracting business, and she's part owner of the restaurant. But the contracting business, she runs our production department. She's actually our production manager who does the ordering of material, the scheduling, deals with hiring, subcontractors, and being a female in the construction business is already difficult, but being 24 and doing it is amazing. So she does an absolutely amazing job. Super organized, super on top of it. One thing that in my 21 years of owning this business that I've seen is production managers come in and there's always problems. Nothing's perfect. You try to eliminate the problems, you try to cut them off, you try to deal with them the best you can. But what a lot of production managers I've seen through the years, and I call production managers like the drummers of the business. If you've ever seen This Is Spinal Tap, they keep going through drummers because the drummers keep dying in weird ways. It's kind of the same way with the production managers. They last like 2 or 3 years, and then they just kind of disappear. Because I think they burn out. I mean, it's a tough job. You're dealing with salespeople with egos who, over-promise. Then you're dealing with homeowners that have high expectations and they don't understand kind of the nuances of remodeling. It's like you try to make it as perfect as possible, but the truth is, it's like you're working with what you have and trying to cover it and make it look as good as possible. It can be difficult, and it's not always going to be perfect. So you're dealing with that, and she does great at it. Because one thing I'd see, like I was going to say, was these production managers, they bury the problems. They don't address them immediately. They try to skirt them, and it just adds on and exasperates the whole situation. And she does great. She head on, very direct, head on with dealing with issues and gets them resolved. I mean, I've been so impressed with her. She's done a great job, and I totally trust her. And honestly, the whole business has gotten so much better since she took over production. I think it was 2 years ago, the beginning of last year or the year before she started. And she's just taken the reins and ran with it. And then what's interesting, so her husband, son-in-law, works for us too. He's one of our project managers, so he goes out on the sites and makes sure the jobs are getting done right, guys have material, all that stuff. He also does some service stuff for us, repairs and other things. And so, it's pretty cool that, when I first met him, and this was 6 years ago, probably now. Yeah, 6 years. When I first, sorry, I gotta take over. My cameras are dirty because it's raining. One thing with the Teslas, the self-driving, they need to do something with the cameras, because when the cameras get dirty, you can't self-drive. So when it rains and snows and stuff, it's an issue. But anyway, son-in-law, met him. I thought he was kind of full of crap kind of guy, like a Cliff Clavin. I used to call him Cliff Clavin because he always had an answer. He always knew, whatever subject you were talking about, he knew about it. But one thing I can say, in construction, he's got a good handle, and he's got a great handle on dealing with people. He says he went to some trade school in high school, and whatever they did a nice job, because he really does have a great baseline knowledge of everything, and his personality's really good at dealing with people and talking to people. So they're like our 1-2 punch in the our production department. And then we've got his best friend from high school, who actually lives with them. He's our service manager. So he does services, Dylan does project managing, and then Riley does the production management. So it's pretty nice that side of the business is taken care of by, my wife's side of the family. And then her youngest son is gonna start working for us too in labor. So who knows? He might progress up in the trades, or I don't know what he's gonna do, to be honest with you. Really smart kid, honestly. I always thought when he was going in school, high school and stuff, that he should go into like programming, but I honestly think with the AI stuff that is gonna be a pretty dead occupation pretty soon, because these computers just do it so much better and faster. So that side of the business, I mean, our contracting business is a true family business. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm kind of the figurehead. I'm the de facto sales manager right now, until I feel comfortable enough to hand it over to my son. My wife is the general manager. She runs like the day-to-day operations. She does the payroll. She does, accounts receivable, payable, that kind of stuff. And then, we've got her daughter running production. We've got son-in-law project managing. We've got the son-in-law's best friend is our service manager. They all live together. And then we've got her son coming on to work in the business. And then my son does sales for us, my oldest son. So it's pretty amazing. So that's my wife's side of the family. Then my son, who's 26, he grew up with his mom. They lived another state over, so I would get him every other weekend. And honestly, I always felt so bad because, I didn't see a lot of the things. I did go up there for some soccer games and some other stuff, but it's just like, I always felt like we didn't really, I don't know, I felt like I missed a lot with him. But what was nice is when he got older, he graduated from high school and he moved down and he started living with us, and he started working for the contracting company. And originally, my mistake, I had him working as kind of like an assistant to me, and I was trying to get him to do social media stuff and all that stuff, and it, I don't know, it really wasn't resonating with him. So I think he worked originally for us for about a year, and then he was like, I want to try something else. So he went and he got a couple other jobs, mostly like sales type, customer service type positions, which was good because he got a lot of exposure to people in a short period of time. He had to learn how to deal with people, and that was great. And then I can't remember how he came back to the company. He's been back for about 2 or 3 years now. Well, he moved back up with his mom, who lives in Wisconsin. So he was working for that's what happened. Okay. So he was working for another contracting business up in Wisconsin who did a lot of the same things we do, but he was doing like marketing for them. So he would be in stores, he would be in malls. He was kind of a lead generator type position. And then what happened was COVID came and it shut down the malls and all the places where they were working, so he ended up getting like laid off. and he decided to move down with us again. And then he started working for T-Mobile up there in their stores. And I think he moved with us, and he started working at T-Mobile down here while he lived with us. And then something happened where he decided to come back and try sales again. And he's really took off. I mean, he's doing great. I mean, he's got a philosophy that he's going by, and I'm actually realigning the company's whole value position based on what he's doing, because he wants to do more design stuff, higher end stuff, and I'm all for it. I think it's great. One thing I will say, the lesson is, and I remember hearing this from somebody who owned some big company, like, you know, Fortune 500 type company. They asked him if he would hire his son, and he said not until he had worked somewhere else for 5 years. And, you know, I didn't take that advice to heart until he came and worked for us, and then it didn't really work out. He went out, worked for a couple other companies, he came back, and now he's killing it. So that is great advice. If you own a business and you want your family to be involved in it, have them go work somewhere else for a short period of time and then come back. Because, and if they want to come back, give them the choice. I mean, I think it's the Amish that they have where before they commit to the lifestyle, they have a period of time when they can go out and do whatever they want. It's kind of like the same thing with them. Before you commit them to your business or what you're doing, let them live their own life and see if they find something that they'd rather do, they enjoy more, have more passion for. But he ended up coming back, and like I said, he's doing great with sales. So sometimes it's tough when the whole family, you know, works for you. But you know one thing, they're going to be loyal. You can trust them. And I make a joke that that we can't find good employees right now. We had to make them. So that's where we're at in the business, and that's where we're at with those older kids. But you know, I could talk for hours about my kids. I didn't get to the younger ones. I've got more to say about the older ones, but for now I'll just leave it at that. You know, a family business is a family business. We've had customers complain that everyone that works for you is your family, you know, because they're trying to find that one person that's going to give them their answer they're looking for. And you know, it's funny, but anyways, that's about all. I'm about to pull an officer. I got a sales meeting, so hopefully you got something out of that. I learned a little bit about my family, and I'll probably do another video about them again because I didn't get to the little ones, and they're pretty interesting too. So have a good one. We'll talk to you later.